Hi, I'm Kieran McDonough from Old School Perspectives on Taekwondo. Today we're just going to clear up a little mystery. So, one of the issues we have with Taekwondo is that people don't fully understand how the punching works. Now, our exposure to punching tends to be from arts like Western conventional boxing and now of MMA. And because of that, our ideas of punching are represented by that. So, for example, when we're doing Western conventional boxing, we tend to have, whether you're peekaboo boxing or you have your hands out slightly further, we have hands in front of us and elbows interacting as well, and they work as a guard to protect us from the person who's stood directly in front of us doing the same thing, and we're having a war of attrition, trading blows, which is why we have our hands like this. And so what happens when we first start experiencing Taekwondo is that we don't tend to punch like that in many of our patterns, and especially in our line work or basics or fundamentals, right? We tend to have our hand on our hip like this. You can have it slightly higher depending on what your style is, and the hand in front like this, and we either punch with side move or with hip twist, but the effect is the same. Our hands are coming out like this. Now the problem with that, with many people when they see this punching, is that their brain tells them, well, I've seen boxing, if I stand like this in front of this guy and I'm punching like this, he's going to destroy me, he's going to punch me up and down the body, I've got no guard to protect myself. And they are right, to an extent. If you are fighting in an arena with a combat athlete and you've got gloves on, then punching like this is pretty much suicide. So if I stand like this, John's going to face me, and I start punching him like this, at any point he can reach over and grab me, which he's going to do now, there, and just pull me or something, and then strangle me with his arms, or, and there's not a lot I can do about it, right? Again, if we have our hands up like this, and we're doing Western conventional boxing, and he trades blows with me, I've got a guard here, I can take some shots, and then I can bang, bang, and I can offload on him myself. But this style of punching is really highly effective, but the problem is, it's predicated on you disrupting the balance of the person in front of you. So you've got two hands. If I stand in front of him like this, as we've seen, he's going to destroy me with any number of attacks because I haven't negated any of his tools of impact. But if I take his sleeve like this and I pull it across his body like that, all of a sudden his posture is broken and it's very difficult for him to hit me for a split second. If I hold this here, I can bang, 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 bang. Offload as many punches as I can until I either destroy him or he's able to spin out, get back into the fight. Alright, so at that point, this kind of punching is very useful. Now when boxers tend to punch, they tend to have their hands in front of them and punch from here. They tend not to retract their arm for a big cross. They tend to have a cross from here. And, and that's a compromise between having a guard and hitting as hard as you can. By bringing your hand all the way back to here and thrusting it in a straight line, you're able to generate more power, but you haven't got your hands in front of you to protect yourself as a guard. In boxing, that's very important, and to a degree in self-defense that's important, until the point where I'm holding on to him here. Then it's not important anymore. I don't have to punch short punches from here. I can draw my arm right back to my hip and offload straight punches, bang, as many as I want to, and then obviously can disrupt his balance and continue to punch like that. So understanding why we punch this way, because we see it in karate films and kung fu films and Taekwondo dojos all up and down the country, but understanding its real purpose gives it value. And it is a highly effective way of delivering force. And you can also employ the general's theory of power with his equilibrium and your reaction hand, and that all works really well for generating power, providing you are holding on to someone or stood behind them. You know, exactly the same thing works when you're stood behind them. There's no need to have a guard when you're stood behind someone. Bang, bang, unless they turn with this arm to the other one. And then you need to hear, and you grab, then off we go again. Bang. Okay, so I hope that helped. Just a little tip. Thank you very much. Charlie.